Story 1. Married for 7 years and in the same relationship for 14. Be honest with each other. Before it gets too serious, be honest with yourself. Story 2. All emotions are accepted. All behavior is not. Learn to communicate with each other, listen, and maintain your self-respect. Story 3. Be with someone who genuinely makes you happy. Be with someone who shares similar goals for the future, such as where to live and whether to have children. Do not cheat. Story 4. I have been with my husband for 20 years this spring. It sounds simple, but every day you have to want to be in the relationship and make it work. You must act in a way that honors that. Obviously, this entirely depends on being with the right person, but you have to believe that your partner is doing their best at all times. I see so many petty arguments on forums where people say, "My spouse was supposed to do the dishes, but said they were tired, so I thought it was fair not to vacuum." You just have to trust that your partner is trying their best. Don't engage in a tit-for-tat. They aren't your sibling or roommate. Remember, it's not you versus me, it's us versus the problem. Story 5. The advice I should have listened to is that if their words and actions do not align, I should pay attention to their actions. Story 6. If the only reason you are in a relationship is that you are scared of being alone, then you probably should not be in that relationship. Story 7. Establish higher barriers to entry. You don't need to be in a relationship with everyone you date. You should be selective about who you transition to the relationship phase with. It is important to be honest about what matters to you in a relationship. Story 8. About once a week, ask yourself if there is anything you are doing that you will regret. Are you treating your significant other as you should? Story 9. First, never stay with someone hoping they will change. People generally do not change. If you would not want to marry them and be with them for the rest of your life as they currently are, then they are not the right person for you. This applies to issues like laziness, sexual incompatibility, hurtful behaviors, cheating, and more. They will always remain the same. Second, a partner should never be your entire life. You should have a social life outside of your partner. You should have hobbies independent of your partner. It is important to maintain connections with family and friends and not isolate yourself because you're in a relationship. That's how you can end up feeling lonely and trapped later in life if the relationship goes sour. Additionally, never let a spouse guilt you into not having other friends or seeing family. Isolating you from family and friends is a form of abusive behavior. Third, do not become financially dependent on a spouse. Avoid being a stay-at-home parent. Just like the previous point, this can lead to feeling stuck in a situation you don't want to be in if the relationship deteriorates. Fourth, maintain self-respect and do not allow yourself to be treated as a doormat. Do not be with someone who tries to put you down, insult you, or make you feel bad about yourself. Abusers do that, not partners who love and care for you. Fifth, always live with someone for at least a year before marrying or having children with them. Also, do not wait until marriage for intimacy. This is not the 18th century. All of the above advice is essential for avoiding being trapped in a bad relationship, which happens to far too many people. Story 10. Don't seek relationship advice on Reddit during tough situations. People are quick to suggest ending relationships over minor issues. Everyone has an opinion, and so do you. Ultimately, your opinion is the only one that matters regarding your relationship. There is never a right or wrong answer. It's about what you believe is the best decision at that moment. Story 11. Do the little things. Pick up your own belongings. Try not to do things that inconvenience your partner. If you have time to do a chore and they do not, then just do it. If they do something for you, reciprocate. Above all, before giving advice, ask if they want advice or just someone to listen. Story 12. Humble yourself and apologize, even if it is only 5% your fault. It creates a relationship built on accountability, forgiveness, and communication. Most people let their ego destroy their relationships. Story 13. You can live without her, and she can live without you. No matter how romantic and cute it sounds to say, "I can't live without you," it is a sign of a toxic relationship. Story 14. Know that you and your partner are both works in progress. individually and together. It is all about growth. Additionally, find someone with whom you can authentically be yourself. Story 15. You are a team. It's you against the world, never against each other. Communication is essential. Trust is essential. Being able to have fun together doing everyday tasks like grocery shopping is essential. Story 16. Find someone you truly enjoy being around and spending time with. Being bored together is much more important than looks if you are always hanging out with your best friend. Story 17. A relationship isn't always equal. Sometimes it may be 85/15ths, 60/40ths, or 0/100. Don't keep a tally. It's a team, not a contest. Story 18. Do not play games, whether yours or theirs. Respect the person and their time. This means having open, direct, and honest conversations. If anything slightly irritates or bothers you about this person, understand that it will magnify significantly when you are together over time. Ask yourself if you actually have anything in common and enjoy each other's company, or if this is a situationship. It surprises me how many people stay together without really wanting to be together. It becomes a habit. If you are ever unsure about something, ask yourself in the third person or pretend that your friend is in the same situation asking for your advice. This can help remove rose-tinted glasses and encourages you to be more objective. I escaped a couple of bad relationships this way before it got too difficult. Story 19. Don't get involved with someone you're not physically attracted to, regardless of how nice and kind they are or how wonderful their personality is. Please make sure you are indeed physically attracted to them. Story 20. The moment you feel the need to go through their phone or think about it until you become anxious, leave. You cannot develop a healthy relationship with someone you do not fully trust. Story 21. Don't settle. If the right person comes along, that's good. If they don't, you are better off on your own than with someone who has multiple red flags. Story 22. Focus on falling in love with the person who is right in front of you. Then do it again every single day. Story 23. Don't look for someone you can't live without. Look for someone you can live with. No one is perfect, so adjust your expectations and acknowledge that you have your quirks too. Story 24. Choose your battles. Be mindful when you share something that bothers you. You are not perfect either. Story 25. Relationships are like bank accounts. If one party keeps making withdrawals without putting anything back, it will eventually run dry. If this goes on long enough, the account will be closed. Everyone has to give of themselves and invest in the relationship. It's a two-way street. I love her. She's my queen. I understand how you feel, but 10 years from now, you may be asking yourself why you are in a relationship with someone who never gives back. Story 26. Find someone who communicates well, has mental maturity, and maintains a healthy, positive mindset. Choose someone with whom you naturally resonate, as you may become lifelong friends. Learn from mistakes and find joy together. Never stop dating. You are a team, not adversaries. The small things can make a significant difference. Wait for the right person to settle down. You can enjoy exploring relationships, but be mindful of red flags from the very beginning. Story 27. I mean this for all relationships, not just romantic. Make sure your relationships are worth your time and effort, and ensure that you are worth the time and effort of those you engage with. As you get older, time starts to fly. You will lose people you love and people you wish you had spent more time and effort with. Look at the people around you now while you are young, and take stock of those you would regret losing time with if they cease to exist tomorrow. This will happen. People who are part of your life now will die. Just make more time for those people. Also, know that there are individuals you have not yet met who will become truly important to you. Try to keep your radar up for those individuals. Story 28. During your first meeting, if the person shares everything in common with you and refers to you as a soulmate or twin flame, run. Story 29. Look for someone you find attractive and then learn about their feelings. If you are compatible in interests and hobbies, that is a good start. Find out through dating or spending time together what their home habits are. You will also discover if your two personalities are compatible. Keep in mind that you are trying to merge two complex lives. From there, you should be able to make a decision about whether to continue dating. Story 30. Ditch the mentality of, they should love me for the way I am. Nobody is perfect. Accept that some things you do or say may not be the best. If your partner doesn't like something, listen to them and try to see it from their perspective. They should also do the same for you. If you truly love someone, be willing to change for the better for them. Compromise is also important in a relationship. Story 31. It's okay to be bored. You're not supposed to be the answer to their boredom, nor are they to yours. Indulge in a hobby or discover a new one. Life isn't like the movies where you marry a charming millionaire and every day is an adventure. Figure it out before you jeopardize a healthy relationship. Story 32. When your partner shows you who they are, believe it. Can you live with that behavior for the rest of your life? You cannot change them. Story 33. Treat every first date like a friendly conversation instead of wondering if he is the one. You will feel a lot less awkward and nervous. Story 34. Complacency is the silent killer. Taking it for granted that loved ones will always be around or that effort is not needed after a certain point can lead to downfall. This is especially true once you have children and your relationship takes a back seat. Story 35. Stop giving multiple chances. They are not going to change. They know what you want, choose to ignore it, and will eventually lose respect for you. You will continue to waste your time on someone who does not care enough to change. Story 36. I'm 25, and what I've learned is that if someone is still friends with their ex, there's a high chance they are not truly over them and may circle back. Not everyone who is friends with their exes behaves this way, but if it makes you uncomfortable, you should talk about it. If they won't compromise, it may be best to end the relationship, as that feeling is unlikely to go away. Story 37. Communication is essential. Many divorces I observe are due to a lack of communication. Therapy is important. We make it a point to attend marriage counseling every few years, regardless of our circumstances. It allows us to take breaks from each other. Infatuations may fade, but friendship endures. We are partners. If one person consistently prioritizes themselves, it can lead to negative consequences. Story 38. Learn to accept that your partner isn't perfect and has flaws that you will have to deal with. You are also flawed, and your partner is dealing with your issues too. There is no such thing as a perfect partner. Story 39. If you wouldn't trust the person to help you grieve and plan your parents' funerals, don't marry them. If they wouldn't help you when you are unable to take care of yourself, do not marry them. It's easier to be alone than to be married to someone who is supposed to provide your first line of support but won't. Story 40. Communicate. Everything can be brought to an understanding. Everyone has their own reality, and when you are in a relationship, both partners have a responsibility to understand each other's reality and collaborate. Story 41. Be comfortable having difficult conversations and accept that you may need to be the one who changes. Story 42. No one else's advice can ever be better than trusting how you feel. You always know what you truly want and need. So be truthful with yourself, even if it's hard, and you will lead yourself to the most genuine people and connections. Story 43. Be comfortable with yourself. Love and respect yourself. You set the rules for how you allow others to treat you. Story 44. Honesty is essential, even in difficult situations. Be self-aware enough to recognize the difference between honesty and being brutally honest. You can be honest without being cruel. Story 45. Be honest and open about what you want and how you feel. Determine what is truly important to you and what you cannot compromise on. Story 46. For my fellow husbands, if it is high, reach for it. If it is heavy, pick it up. If it is far, go get it. For everyone, take time for yourself and actively ensure you help your partner take time for themselves as well. Story 47. Online relationship advice can be challenging because we all have different perspectives. It's important to look at things objectively and find solutions that work for you. Alternatively, seek guidance from people who truly know you and have your best interests at heart. Story 48. Never let them go. Make sure to control your emotions and do not yell at them. Do not make the mistake I did. Story 49. If it seems like you are arguing about the same issues for more than 3 months, consider it resolved. Story 50. Discuss values, goals, life plans, and what you want from your future relationship from day one. Do you want children? So, how many? Do you want to get married? Are you religious? How important is that to you? Do you prefer your children to attend private school? What would you do if your son were gay? What is your daily routine? Start from the outset with this serious mindset. While love can be fun and lighthearted, a relationship is fundamentally serious. Treat it as such and ensure your partner understands that. Story 51. It is your responsibility to inform your partner if you are upset about something. Do not expect them to figure it out. Story 52. If you wouldn't be friends with someone outside of your relationship, they are not right for you inside the relationship. There are many things you will experience with a best friend, and you will experience even more with your spouse. People you both know will get sick, face challenges, and may pass away. Both of you may get sick, encounter difficulties, and one of you may die before the other. My wife is my best friend. We can share anything with each other. And even when we have a difficult day or week, we still get to come home to our best friend. And an extra bonus? Cuddling, intimacy, and a fulfilling physical relationship. Additionally, if you decide to have children, understand that the early months can be chaotic, and you will want an equal partner. The moment you have to beg, rather than just ask, for assistance with a new baby, resentment can begin to grow. It needs to be a partnership regardless of anything else. Story 53. Oh, and the first advice before the actual relationship is to always be good at eating alone at your own table. You cannot sit at the table of life and eat comfortably with others until you can eat comfortably and happily alone, with just yourself for company. Know that if you can be truly happy with your own life, first and foremost with yourself, then you can be assured that you are not seeking a relationship merely to fill some empty, uncomfortable void within yourself. Story 54. One of you will be the catch when you're younger, and one of you will be the catch when you're older. I was a well-employed, articulate, well-paid 6 feet 2 inches nerd when I was 30. My wife found a good partner. Now, 15 years later, she's rocking the attractive look. I'm out of shape, and the world has made our situations more challenging than we desired. We both understand each other's early relationship roles much better now. Story 55. If you meet someone on social media, pay attention to their username. I dated a person with chaos in their username, and it was chaotic from day one until we broke up. Notice the small things that people reveal about themselves. Story 56. A vast majority of issues can be avoided or resolved through a conversation and by admitting when you are wrong. Story 57. Values are everything. If you don't have similar values, it won't work in the long term. Respectful communication is essential. Story 58. Find someone you can laugh and be silly with. Let them see your blind spots. Pay attention to the little details. People like to be seen. If it takes away your peace, then it is too expensive. It should be smooth and easy, especially at the beginning. Story 59. Be at peace with yourself. Know yourself, and be able to be alone. By knowing yourself, you can decide if you should be with someone else. For those who struggle to find the courage to express your feelings because you fear losing the person you love, remember that 10 seconds of courage and honesty can save you years of pain and regret. Share your feelings. It will either be reciprocated or not, and you can move on. Story 60. Don't stay with someone who doesn't share your views on financial matters. I understand this falls under the category of shared values, but this is an important aspect that can impact your life after a divorce if not addressed properly. Story 61. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Stop settling. The person you are walking on eggshells around, shrinking yourself for, or drowning for is not the right one. You will never be too much for the right person. Learn to be truly alone before you pursue a lifelong relationship. Story 62. Date someone you truly love and feel attracted to. It's challenging to have a relationship if you lack one of these two aspects, in my experience. Don't settle for someone just to be with someone. Story 63. Don't settle for less. Don't compromise your principles, and definitely do not change because of someone else. Story 64. Do not enter a long-term relationship until you have healthy, supportive, drama-free friendships with at least two different people to whom you are not related. Maintain those friendships for at least 5 years and have undergone mental health therapy with a professional therapist for at least 1 year. Story 65. Communication is everything. Talk about the little things, the big things, as well as the awkward things. Story 66. Men aren't valued until they are 25. Expert communicators have the best relationships and sex lives. Story 67. Really ask yourself before you commit to a relationship if it is what you actually want right now. Many times I have not consciously thought about it and ended up falling for people. But when I realize I want to remain single or prioritize other things in my life, it is difficult to leave because of the emotional upheaval. Story 68. Trust and communication are non-negotiable. Without them, any relationship will fail. Respect your partner, be present for them, and accept nothing less in return. Take your time. Do not rush into marriage and children. Story 69. Give people a fair chance, but do not give more than you receive, and do not hold on to someone who does not deserve it. Story 70. Learn to communicate with your partner in a healthy way. I have been with my boyfriend for nearly 13 years. We have been together since we were 17. And what has made our relationship so much better in the last few years is that we created a way to talk about our feelings, thoughts, and needs openly. Story 71. Sometimes you have to approach relationships logically, not emotionally, as hard as that is. Be able to take a step back and look objectively at your relationship. Ask yourself, if your best friend, sister, brother, or any other loved one was in this relationship, how would you feel about that? If the majority of your feelings are not positive, it is time to walk away. When you do, walk away respectfully and kindly. Even if they have wronged you, do not stoop to their level. Story 72. You both come from different backgrounds or families. While you may have learned your own truths about how to live, it is important to discover what works for you as a couple rather than relying on past experiences. Story 73. Stand up for yourself and what you want and like. If the person you are with does not appreciate who they are with, then move on. People often try too hard to be something they are not in order to impress someone, and before they realize it, they are no longer themselves and are not happy. Story 74. Create your own world together. Don't worry about what things are supposed to be or supposed to look like. You both be yourselves. This is the secret to my husband's and my successful and happy marriage of 20 years. Oh, and communication skills are essential. Story 75. All the fire fades. Choose the person you can trust to care for you if something terrible happens. Choose the person with whom you can be alone. Story 76. Don't argue over texts. Just pick up the phone and call. Most of the time, you are dealing with a simple miscommunication due to a misinterpreted tone. Story 77. Learn about the energy you give off and how your partner responds to that energy and vice versa. I can come home angry, and my spouse can become angry and agitated for no reason due to my angry energy. Creates a no-win situation afterward. Story 78. Sometimes, it's nice to sit together on the couch, catching up on your reading or shows, both in your own little world, with the occasional, "What do you want for dinner?" thrown in. In other words, simply enjoying being together. Story 79. I am a 33-year-old married twice. One experience was depressing, leading to 2 suicide attempts, while the other feels like heaven, and we now have a baby. Here are 3 pieces of advice. 1. Manage your expectations and encourage your partner to do the same. Higher expectations can lead to catastrophic results. Both partners need to understand that they are human, with limited power and abilities. Clear communication is key to a healthy, long-term relationship. Always strive to be honest and direct with your partner. Never expect your partner to understand your experiences unless you express them. Identify the challenges and work on solutions together. Your partner is not the enemy, nor is the solution. Once you identify the challenges, Discuss them openly and work together to find resolutions. If your efforts do not succeed, rest and remember that tomorrow is a new day to try again. Story 80. If you don't have to try for the other person to be happy with the time spent together, and things come naturally and develop spontaneously, you are on the right track. Stick with it for a while. Also, do not waste time arguing or being angry. Admit if you have done wrong and try to be better. Apologize if appropriate. This approach contributes significantly to becoming a strong couple. Story 81. Communication is essential. If you want a relationship to work, you must be able to communicate. If you cannot express clearly what you are thinking or feeling and discuss it together, every relationship will struggle. Story 82. To be honest, given the current cost of housing, more relationships should probably prioritize financial stability over emotional fulfillment. I'm not saying to date someone for their money, but you will want to be with someone you can at least dual income, no kids with. Story 83. There are thousands of people who will be a great match for you. If you aren't feeling it, it's okay to step away. You'll find love again, probably several times. Also, love feels different as you get older. Enjoy the butterflies you feel when your crush looks at you, and enjoy feeling blushed. Those feelings fade with time. Story 84. Relationships shouldn't be hard, and those who say they are likely find themselves in a poor relationship. A good relationship involves two individuals who strive to make each other happy. If that is not occurring, you may not be right for each other. Story 85. Don't tell people about every conflict. You're creating a negative impression that might linger in their memory. You want her side to like you, and your side to like her. Life will naturally present situations that will challenge those relationships. Don't contribute to it. Story 86. Do not date someone because you feel like you are missing something. Date them because they enhance your life. Story 87. 1. Unless they are truly difficult, give them the benefit of the doubt. If they are truly difficult, it may be best to remove them from your life. I am 44 years old, and it took me nearly my entire life to understand what it means to love yourself before you can love others. Technically, you can love others, but you may not be a good partner. Being attractive will not guarantee happiness. Dating someone attractive will not ensure your happiness. Additionally, there is a bell curve regarding attractiveness and being good in bed. The most average individuals tend to be the best lovers, while those who are very attractive or unattractive are generally not as good. Story 88. Don't get married until your early 30s at the earliest. Live your life, have fun, figure out who you are, and more importantly, understand what you like and do not like. Story 89. Learn to spot the red flags early. Address them directly and discuss whether these issues are things your potential partner can work on. If not, end it there. Story 90. If you plan on getting married, be honest about everything. Sexual frequency, parenting, religion, your future 5, 10, or 20 years down the road, and career goals, as much as you can think of. Story 91. Find a person early in life, stay together, and grow alongside each other while improving and learning. Many people who wait or become too old miss their opportunity. Story 92. Make sure you are genuinely friends with your significant other. I see too many people dating and marrying partners they wouldn't spend time with if not for romantic incentives, which won't be sufficient in the long term. Story 93. Communicate for sure. We have been together for 20 years in April. We grew up together and evolved together. We went on adventures together. We make it a point to go on dates and spend time together. Story 94. Communication is essential. Express your feelings and avoid holding on to resentments. Listen to your partner and communicate openly about everything, both the positive and the challenging. If you are not whole as a person before entering a relationship, it may either not last or require a significant amount of effort. I have personally experienced changes in my preferences for a partner between the ages of 25 and 35, so do not settle. Story 95. Communicate like an adult. Avoid responses like, "I'm fine" or "nothing." Grow up. If you don't know how, learn. You owe it to yourself and your partner. In the same vein, if you're experiencing that kind of treatment, Reflect on your situation. A real relationship is challenging. It changes and evolves, just as you both will. However, if you are the one always trying to communicate and the other responds with "I'm fine" and "nothing," you may not be meant for each other. You deserve someone who understands you and shares your wavelength. As contradictory as this may sound, even though relationships can be challenging, they can also be easier when both partners communicate effectively. The good times will be truly enjoyable, and the tough times can be more manageable when you both know you have each other's support. Story 96. If you want to be married or in a long-term relationship in a shared household, you need to stop being selfish in your thinking. You must view the person you are with as equally important to yourself, and this understanding must truly resonate with you. Story 97. Never ask for advice on relationships, dating, or AITA. Am I the asshole subreddits? As most of it is genuinely terrible and disconnected from reality. The individuals browsing those forums are often bored, seeking entertainment, and have no personal investment in the outcome. Story 98. Relationships require love, trust, honor, respect, and desire. Verb form in how you treat your partner. Be loving, trusting, honoring, respecting, and desiring. Adjective form in how you are. Be lovable, trustworthy, honorable, respectable, and desirable. Seek these qualities within yourself and look for them in your partner. Story 99. No relationship is perfect without arguments and problems. The important thing is to solve them, be accountable, and work through everything together. It may not feel good in the moment, but you will be much happier in the long run. Story 100. Don't ever stop dating, even if your definition of date changes over time, which it will. I am about to have date night with my beautiful wife of 22 years and mother of my 5 wonderful children. Cheers, everyone. Keep loving. Story 101. The only kind of consent is enthusiastic consent. If you are pressuring your partner for sex and they are not enthusiastically responding, then that is not consent. Enthusiastic consent was not taught to me until I was in my late 20s, and it was a paradigm shift in how I approached everything, from movies and television shows to my own life. Story 102. Marry your best friend. If you cannot say your partner is your best friend, they are not the one. While love is sufficient to get married, you need much more to maintain a successful marriage. Story 103. Don't settle for less just because you're lonely. I learned from experience, and honestly, I have been single for 2 years, but I know I can't allow myself to go through that again. I know what I deserve now. Story 104. Friendship is the most important aspect. Love and desire may fluctuate, but if you genuinely care for each other and want to spend time together, you can overcome any challenge. Story 105. If they cannot or are unwilling to consider different perspectives or meet you halfway, it will result in both of you eventually being miserable. Story 106. Learn to allow your emotions to exist without needing to respond to them immediately. Step back and make decisions after those emotions have expressed themselves. Find someone who can learn to do the same. It will save you many arguments. Story 107. Hold a weekly meeting to reflect on how you can be a better partner and communicate areas for improvement. Use this time to discuss plans for trips, goals, projects, and finances. Story 108. Honesty, and I mean deep honesty, is key. Beyond that, I always tell people that you should spar constantly and never fight. Sparring is for both people to keep each other sharp and on their game. Fighting is meant to hurt. If you're trying to hurt the other person in your relationship, then it's already broken. We're just under 40 and have been together for 20 years, and everyone remarks that we handle all our issues right there on the spot and do it with kindness. We don't keep things, no matter how small, bottled up. Story 109. If you cannot communicate honestly without fear of damaging what you have, it is already damaged. If you love it, let it go. If it comes back, it is meant to be. It may sound cliched, but it is genuine advice. Ask me how I know. Story 110. Realize that your partner isn't perfect. They will make mistakes, disappoint you, and hurt your feelings at some point. Life isn't a movie. The best relationships involve communication, understanding, and a commitment to solving arising issues. It isn't you versus your partner. It's you and your partner versus the issues. Marriage isn't 50-50. That leads to divorce. Story 111. Stay honest. Don't stay with someone you hesitate to tell the truth. If you can't love them the way they want to be loved, let them go. Don't expect them to change. Love them for who they are, not who they might be someday. Story 112. Not all relationships are the same. It is important to establish your own clearly communicated boundaries and expectations. Story 113. I have been with my wife for 43 years. I have challenged her to leave, but she won't accept the challenge. Story 114. Keep going until you meet the right person. Once you are with the right person, it is easy. If you have mental health concerns, be honest with yourself about any issues you may have. You need to seek therapy. Otherwise, it will continue to harm your relationships. Story 115. Be with the person you trust to support you in good times and bad. The person who keeps their promises, follows through, and collaborates with you. You are a team. Everyone experiences tragedies in life, such as death, illness, and career changes. If someone does not show up for the easy moments, they certainly will not be there when it matters most. Choose to be with someone who can face challenges alongside you. Story 116. Remember, it is a harsh truth, but your significant other may wake up and decide they no longer have the feelings they once had. I hope that never happens to anyone, but it is always a possibility. Story 117. Be honest. Don't impulsively say anything as it enters your mind, and don't feel obligated to divulge things you want to keep to yourself. Just avoid lying. It will create confusion that will become impossible to untangle. Story 118. I am 26. I would say don't treat it as a relationship. Do it as companionship. Be there for each other all the time. Relationships can pressure you to be a certain way, while companionship gives you the freedom to be yourself. Story 119. Trust and be trustworthy. Worrying about whether your partner is cheating on you is a waste of energy and dignity. It is also oppressive and can lead to abusive behavior to be with someone constantly concerned about your fidelity. If you can't trust your partner, you shouldn't be with them. If your partner doesn't trust you, you shouldn't be with them. Avoid cheating, overthinking innocent actions, and being sneaky due to concerns about how they may be perceived. Do not snoop or engage in any behavior you would not want directed at you. Example 1. My partner has my passcode to my phone and my email for emergencies. I willingly provided it to him without him asking, and I have nothing to hide, but that does not give him permission to monitor me. If he needs to borrow my laptop, I don't close my tabs because I am not concerned about what he sees, but I would be annoyed if he were going through them without permission. Example 2. We have overlapping and separate friend groups. We share our plans with each other so no one worries that the other is in danger, not because of a lack of trust. I assure you that if you see me out in public with a man who is not my spouse, my husband knows where I am and who he is, whether it's a coworker, cousin, or just a male friend. My husband was in an accident after leaving a bar where he was with a female friend. An acquaintance suggested there would be drama, as if he would need to call me to explain. That was not the case at all. I do not want a relationship where, if my partner is seriously injured, he has to worry that I care more about the name of the person with him than his well-being. Example 3. I enjoy traveling alone. I have a very stressful job, and to me, a vacation means I am not responsible for anyone else's happiness or agenda but my own. I do travel with my husband and friends, and that is enjoyable, but it is not what I consider a vacation. The next person who expresses disbelief that my spouse allows me to take trips without him will get a strong response. Married for over 20 years. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.